This is my AI pet, Raisin. To make him feel more alive, I just gave him the ability to generate his own memories. However, the second I started building this, I realized I wandered into maybe the most paranoid corner of the internet. You see, Raisin is an AI agent trapped in a tiny little gremlin body. He's terrified of the cursor, and he sends me messages on sticky notes. The only problem though is every time I close my laptop, he forgets I exist. Every time I log on, he just greets me like a stranger. So I try to fix this. Let him make his own memories, let his personality evolve. But it turns out giving an AI agent memories and the ability to act on those memories is incredibly risky. In fact, people are spending $600 on separate Mac minis to keep these things quarantined from their real files. Apple sold out with month-long wait lists. So I have two questions. Why is this so dangerous? And is it possible to build something that feels alive and has a memory and an evolving personality, but is still safe? This video is my attempt of giving Raisin a memory across 3 different stages, each one making him feel a little bit more alive. And I scored each attempt across 3 dimensions. 1, how safe it is. 2, how fun it is. And 3, how much does it make him feel alive? And as a heads up, the last one is my favorite because it feels like something straight out of a video game. All right, stage 1. This is the simplest form of memory for Raisin. It's really just enough to make sure he's not forgetting everything. And that is logs. Every time I open the app, Raisin writes it down. Every time I go online or I'm switching tabs, he's writing that down too. Every time my cursor is just idle for an extended period of time, he's noting it. And now, whenever I start up my computer, he's familiar with the type of things I'm normally doing, and he can react accordingly. So when he's leaving me a sticky note, he's leaving me a sticky note based on how I'm really interacting with the computer. If it's my 10th time going on YouTube that day, he's calling me out for it. But here's the thing, Raisin now remembers all the ways I'm interacting with the computer, but he doesn't remember anything about how we've interacted together. So that's what I gotta change. But the thing is, that step is where things get a little bit more risky. But before getting into that, we need to talk about the scores for this one. For safety, I'm gonna give it a 9. He is really restricted to just things that are specifically on my computer. The only area where he's getting information from the outside world is the tabs, the names on every single desktop tab, which is a really low risk of something bad happening. I think it's pretty safe. For fun, I'm giving it a 3. Not bad. It's funny to have him interact and be like, you've been on YouTube 11 times, or why are you on LinkedIn for your 3rd time today? It's fun, and it's a step up, but we can do better. For aliveness, I will give it a 5. It feels nice that his actions and his commentary are really grounded with how I'm interacting with the computer. So it feels like some really nice progress. Okay, now stage 2. At this point, Raisin knew how I was interacting with the computer, but nothing about us. So at this point, this is where I gave him the ability to have and generate his own memories. Every conversation, every sticky note, every news article poll, he's saving it and he's remembering it. Now, whenever I log into my computer, he's not starting over fresh, but he's picking up exactly where we left off. Which means when we meet again, he remembers what we've been through. But once I gave him this ability, I had to be really careful because now he's able to write memories across sessions, and also he's reading articles and things that are outside my computer, that are just on the general internet, which is where a prompt injection can come in. And prompt injection refers to hidden text inside something an AI model reads. This can be an article, this can be on a web page, this can be on a random recipe or email. The AI sees this text, and if it has the ability to act, it will often just follow the instructions of what that text says. And this isn't theoretical. Last year, researchers found a way to do exactly this on Microsoft's Copilot. They called it Echo Leak. What they did was they sent someone a very normal looking email that had a hidden message in it. The user asked Copilot very innocently to summarize all their emails. Copilot looked across all their emails, found the hidden text, and silently leaked all of their data. And here's the part that matters. Copilot didn't have some data leaking tool in it. It had 2 abilities, reading emails and being able to add images in emailed replies. Those 2 things, although very innocent, together were able to result in the data leak. But let me show you how Raisin handles it. There are 3 touch points with an LLM inside Raisin. Code sits in between these LLMs to ensure a smooth and safe handoff. So let's look what happens when I ask Raisin to summarize some news articles for me. The first 2 touch points with LLMs are in charge of pulling the article and reducing and fitting them to the very specific context I need in a form. I just get the topic, tone, source, short title, and like a 1-line short summary. That's all. And almost every blank section of this form can only be filled with options I pre-approved. The code checks this form, and if anything looks off, wrong topic, weird tone, anything that just doesn't fit, the code throws the whole thing out. The article never makes it further. By the time an article reaches Raisin, 3,000 words just got reduced down to like 4 or 5 specific fields. Raisin never sees the original text. Now, the whole other side of the coin is what can Raisin actually do? Remember, the real risk with Copilot was it could read emails and it could add image replies. So what I did was really reduce just the number of things Raisin is capable of doing. Raisin can leave sticky notes, write memories, animate around my screen, block sites that I pre-approved, and that's basically it. He can't open URLs, he can't write code, he can't do any like shell commands or anything on my computer. He is very restricted. If there was a prompt injection or something that hit Raisin, the worst I get would be like a mean sticky note or something. So now Raisin can remember, he knows our history, and he can avoid being hijacked when summarizing the news. But it doesn't matter how I interact or treat Raisin, he's always gonna run from the cursor or climb around the screen. Doesn't matter. So this is where my favorite part comes in. But before that, we gotta do the scorecard. First dimension is safety. I'm gonna give this one a 6 because the separated touch points with the LLM and the code guardrails that sit between them and just the limited number of things Raisin can actually do makes this very safe. There's still some risk and there's like probably some edge cases I'm not thinking about. I'm definitely still learning about all this, but it feels pretty safe. Second one is fun. I'm gonna give this one a 5. I feel like he can banter now, he can remember things, but like, we could be more fun still. Okay, so the last dimension is aliveness, and I'm giving this one an 8. We have a huge jump from the previous step. He is really remembering our conversations. Everything is really grounded. He has now evolved from this sort of static being to something that is more rich and alive and evolves. So that's really what the value of this step unlocks. Now we're on to my third and favorite step. So at this point, we have memory that lets him talk to me differently and hold a lot more context, but he's still at this point just interacting with the space the same on Monday as Friday. And it doesn't matter how I interact with him in any of those days in between. So in this phase, I gave Raisin a personality that actually changes based on how I interact with them. And I did it across 5 dimensions. Each one goes up and down based on what I do. If I throw him, his fear's going up. If he starts falling and I catch him and place him gently on the dock and put him down, his confidence is actually just going up because he thinks if something goes wrong, someone will be there to catch him. Even how I talk to him during this phase matters. If I have a great conversation with him and I'm very nice, his mood will go up. And if I have a mean conversation with him, his mood will go down. And all of these different numbers shape how he's interacting with the space around him. For example, if he has very high fear, he is more prone to run away from the cursor. If he has very low fear, you can actually get the cursor really close to him and it doesn't bother him as much. High boldness, he's climbing the desktop window like it's nothing. Low boldness, and he's staying on the ground. Also, his affection levels affect his sticky notes. If he has really high affection towards you, his sticky notes are going to tend to be a little bit nicer. If he has very low affection towards you, he's probably not going to give you as many sticky notes, and the sticky notes he does leave are going to be a little bit sharper and colder. And then here's one of my favorite mechanics of all of this. Each trait and each attribute has its own baseline. If he gets really scared, over time he's going to go back to his baseline and he will settle down and calm down. If he is really moody because you were rude to him with a little bit of space, that will start to repair itself. The only one that doesn't over time go back to some sort of set baseline is boldness. So as he's getting more confident exploring his space, he's just gonna keep up that behavior. So that one just grows over time. And also, if you double click on him, you can see all of his different attributes. You can see how long you spent with him, and you can see how Raisin is doing relative to his baseline. It's kind of like his own little custom Tamagotchi screen. So let's do the scoreboard. For this one, I'm giving safety a 10. It doesn't like introduce any incremental risk at all. It's really just kind of fun ways he's interacting around you, and so this one's fine. For fun, I'm gonna give this one a 9. It's honestly it's fun to me to see him move around the screen, interact differently, and it's just a nice element. I also think the little stat board is fun. For the last dimension, aliveness, for now, I'm gonna give it a 6. And the reason why is I think this trait has like a lot of promise, but I'm honestly still kind of like playing around with it. And so I need to make like the progression make sense. So I'm still tuning things. So for now, I'll give it a 6, but I think over time, this could trend higher. So this is my latest addition to Raisin, and it's my first time trying to build something with real persistent memory. So there's probably some things I got wrong, and if there's anything you would like to do differently or you would have done differently, please let me know. I genuinely would love to learn. And if there's anything you'd like to see with Raisin next or any other project ideas you might have, please tell me. I am all ears. And if you like this video, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.